Welcome to the Liverpool Connection podcast. Julian here with Daz, and we are here to talk about the Liverpool Brentford game this weekend. It's going to be on Sunday. This comes off the back of a disappointing defeat in the Europa League, which we'll probably get into a little bit, but not too much. But yeah, Daz, welcome. How you doing?
I'm good, liking this cold weather right now. It's nice
It's a
jumper
bit
and
of
jacket weather
it's
for
a
for us.
bit of a dramatic change, though. It was warm. I had the air conditioning on
Yeah.
yesterday morning, and now I'm going to have to put the fire. The fire's going to have to start burning. It's a bit
Uh,
crazy.
well, I mean, this morning, same this morning, we had the air conditioner on, and now we come home and the missus has put the heat on.
It's, yeah, this ain't normal. So there's a lot of sickness going around at the moment.
Mm.
You have these dramatic shifts in weather, and it's not healthy. And into a really bad segue, talking of dramatic shifts, we need to dramatically improve our performances because the Luton game wasn't good, and then
Hmm.
the Europa League was possibly worse. Now, yes, it's a Europa League. Yes, we're probably still going to get through, barring a complete disaster. We're going to get through the group, but still, you want to have consistency in performances. It's never good to, two bad performances on the bounce. But let's before we get into the Brentford game, let's just talk about that very briefly. The Toulouse performance. What was your thoughts on that?
Well, I thought Toulouse were brilliant. You know,
Mm.
I thought they had the crowd with them, and this was their cup final,
Yep.
100% cup final, but. I just don't understand some of our players. I really don't. Endo was absolutely awful. Simicast, I wouldn't even rate Simicast. I couldn't even give him a one. He was that bad. But
Don't-
what annoys me though, Julian, is like when you have games like this, it's their chance for these players to shine, and none of them took it. Absolutely not one of them.
There's a player as well that it maybe hasn't been mentioned, but I thought there was a player that finally, okay, has an opportunity to play in maybe his more natural position and didn't really perform, did he? And I know he has been forced to, in a way, to play that six role and a little bit deeper throughout this season, and he hasn't been great. But again, McAllister is a little bit of a concern because he played that more of a forward role against Toulouse, but didn't impose himself at all. And I believe I read somewhere that like didn't make one successful tackle, and the times that he gave the ball away was high. And we know about Endo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Disaster, and the Greek disaster, but McAllister's a little bit of a worry as well at the moment.
I don't think he's too much of a worry, to be honest. I mean, obviously he's not a number six, and he was put in a more advanced role, but that was the first time he's played a more advanced role, and he played with the likes of Endo, who was shite,
Hmm.
and Elliot, who he's a spark plug. But that midfield was absolutely awful, disjointed. So he was playing in a disjointed team. Um, if you give him a good run as an attacking midfielder, then I'll have a kind of a say on it. But just watching him yesterday, it was overall team was just
Yeah.
disjointed. Even Kelleher, who is a fantastic second, backup goalkeeper. I thought his positioning on some of them was
Hmm.
suspect. But yeah, just I mean, Doak, first start in a while, coming back from injury. He was just a live wire.
Yeah.
But for a 17-year-old, to play Europa, it just seemed a bit too much for him again. Like he was trying too hard.
Hmm.
And it was just disjointed all over the pitch. I was just, That first 45 minutes, like I thought Luton first 45 was bad, but this was the worst I've seen as this season.
It was rough. It was a struggle to get through that first 45, and even Gakpo had an opportunity to play up front and didn't really do a lot. But it was, yeah, the entire team. Elliot maybe was the pick. If you had to pick a player who did, at least try to make things happen, and obviously stayed on throughout the second half as well. And then Jota, when he came on, did what Jota does, like a wonderful finish. But yeah, forgettable. But yeah, concerns going into the Brentford game, because Brentford are a good side. They're the games we have played against them since they've come back, come up into the Premier League have been difficult. Last season we lost at Brentford's ground, and then we beat them 1-0 at Anfield. So both games weren't easy, but we need to see a lot better than we've seen the last two games. We need to show a bit of grit, a bit of passion. We need to get stuck in. We need some energy, and none of that we have seen the past two games. And if we're going to be a resilient Brentford side, we're going to have to show that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know how Brentford plays, don't we? I mean, they are very physical, and they do like to do the long ball.
Yeah.
Thank God Tony's not available because he's a naughty boy like Tonali. They like to bet on teams, but they're still a threat.
Yeah.
Frank hasn't playing really like good football. I like Brentford football. I like the manager, and they can hurt us. I'm worried. It looked like Jones obviously is not back till international break. After the international break,
Has that been confirmed? Did you say
yeah,
that?
yeah.
That's a problem.
Alistair obviously is suspended,
Yeah.
and Gravenberch might not make it because he's got that slight knee
Yeah.
issue. So he might miss the weekend. So that gives us Endo again, Sloboslai,
And Elliot, probably.
Elliot, yeah.
Because they're the only ones that are fit. I know there was some discussion today after Klopp's press conference about there's a possibility of Trent playing in midfield and starting, but then you're shooting yourself a little bit in the foot, because then you're losing, the best right back at the club. So that makes little sense to me, doubly considering, we don't have Robbo is out, so it
Well,
means
yeah, that's the thing.
so you have that problem. So I think
It
going
would
in
be all
midfield,
right
it would.
if you put Trent a little bit, in midfield, then you'd have Gomez on the right. But the way
Yeah.
Simicast played, I would expect Gomez to start at
Yeah,
left
so
back.
would I. Yeah.
Trent's got to start at right back. I mean, unless he throws young Luke Chambers in, which I just can't see him doing that. So I would expect Gomez and Trent to be, left and right back. And Endo, he's he's just not up to speed, is he? He's kind of like how Fabinho was. Fabinho took 5-6 months to get up to speed. So did Robbo, and we had to endure quite a lot of crap before that, I remember. So it's kind of the same thing. I mean, and then kind of people are going, well, the Bundesliga is like the English league. I'm like, yeah, no, not really. And plus Stuttgart doesn't play the same way the Klopp plays. So he's got to get up to speed, and he's just not up to speed. He's slow. He's just not. I mean, he's showing me you are definitely, he's not even like a replacement for Milner yet.
Yeah.
But
he's at the club. It's at Anfield. We don't have an abundance of options. His position, we don't have any options, so he has to start. This is why he's there. So he needs to prove, I think, I'm sure Klopp will give him that motivation that, he needs to prove to everyone this is why he is at the club. And the performances the few performances where he has looked all right have been at Anfield. He has looked a little bit better, but they were in I think the League Cup and then the home game against Toulouse. But I think you have to play him. You have to You have to
There's
put
no
him
one
in.
else. There's
So,
no one
yeah,
else.
you have to put him in. So yeah, I would agree with that. I think yeah, Szoboszlai, Endo, Elliott, barring any miraculous recoveries from Gavin Birchwood-Jones, which just looks like it's not going to happen. It's probably going to be the starting midfield.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Having
good.
Virgil back at, centre back will be there, and Canate, I would have thought, right?
Yeah,
Canate's fit, I hope.
yeah. Matip's still trying to find his slippers. He was all over the place against Toulouse as well. So
Yeah.
it is good that we get those defenders back. Midfield's a worry for
hmm
me, because it just seems like any team that has pace can just go right past us, and that is a concern.
hmm
I still think we've been papering over the cracks a little bit with how we've been playing. The loss to Spurs, obviously, we all know what happened there.
Yeah.
That the games like against Brighton and then against Luton, it really showed that like we're still missing something.
I think we've said this for a while as well. I mean, we're not just talking about this season. We're going back to towards the end of last season when we changed the formation. We put Trent in the hybrid, where it's certainly made us more. We're creating a lot more chances, and now, of course, this season you add in the likes of McAllister and Szoboszlai. A lot more creativity in midfield, and in a way, yeah, we have been getting out of jail because of the abundance and amazing attacking options that we have. That it always feels like we're going to score a goal, right? We're going to get ourselves out of this, and we're going to get a winner because we have players who are completely different that can be used in different games as well. You've got, Jota, who he might not do anything the entire game, but he's probably he's gonna get you a goal more than likely. You've got Diaz, who's like an old school winger. You've got Gakpo, who's more technical, like a sub Firmino type. You've got Salah, who's Mr. Consistency is going to get you all the assists, and then you've got the wild card Nunes. So you have all these completely different options that you feel like you're always going to get a goal, but it feels like we need to score 4 because the other team's going to score 3 or something like that, because it does feel like, and we have done, it feels like we're going to give up chances every single game. We're going to give up opportunities just because of the way we play, and I think Klopp and the coaching staff accept that with this setup we're going to give up chances. But we have to also have some, we have to look at this season as well. We've done up till this week, we've done well in the Europa League. We're sitting in a pretty good position. We look at the league table, we're sitting in, let me have a look, third. I
Yeah.
mean, we're looking at
Point
third spot. I mean, it's not all bad stuff. There's a lot of good
quarterfinals of the
things.
League Cup. I mean,
Yeah,
quarterfinals of the League Cup. I mean, if you would have given me third, this is where we're at this season, I would have bit your hand off. I mean, I
I agree. With such an overhaul of the squad and the midfield, I think being in third spot, approaching mid-November, we are in a pretty good shape, but we know there are things, no doubt, that we need to work on, right? If we want to win something, for example, then yeah, we certainly need to improve certain elements of our game. And I'm not even going to talk about challenging for the title, because I don't
no.
see that. We'll talk about that maybe February and see where we're sitting, but I don't see us being ready as a squad to do that with what I've seen so far this season. But yeah,
It will take getting through this festive period,
yeah,
coming out of it like still in touching distance. If say February, March, we're still up there in and about the top 3 or top 4, 3 or 4 points, then I wouldn't bet against us. But it's right now, the Brentford one does make me nervous, just because I know it's at Anfield, but just we start so slow. and I don't understand it. You know, like
Hmm.
it's you know, it's not the early kickoff, so you want, you know, guns blazing.
Yeah.
I just want us to get out the traps and like go at them, but we just seem so slow, and like that's when teams start to attack us.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh well, you're just gonna play a bit possession football. We're gonna counter attack, and then they hit us on the counter. And then before we know it, went 1-0 down, and then you got to look up and be like, all right, here we go again.
And they're sitting, and Brentford are sitting in ninth spot. You know, they're in the ninth position league. I mean, they've won, I think, three, is it three of the last five? Yeah,
Something.
they have. I mean, they're looking, I mean, considering the lack of money and that Brentford have spent, for them to be in ninth position is remarkable. I mean, you have two teams in the Premier League that are kind of like the hip sides, right? Brighton, of course, are like the hip side that you might not support them, but everyone kind of like, oh, I like Brighton, they're doing really well. And Brentford's probably the other one that maybe is in a little, in a little way gone under the radar a bit
Mm-hmm.
with how well they have done. And, they're sitting well above mid-table in the Premier League. So they are certainly a side that it's it's going to be tough, and we should appreciate them and respect Brentford and go out there and, like you say, I think we have to start this. We have to start this game on the front foot. We really do. We can't let them, because if Brentford go ahead, they can sit on that lead. They can sit back Brentford. They can hold on to that, and we
Yeah,
don't want that to happen.
yeah, they've got the players. You know, I mean that just like you were talking, everybody seems to talk about Brighton a lot, and
Yeah,
you know, De Zerbi is doing a fantastic job there. But this season, they just aren't clicking like they did last season. But they've lost, you know, quite a few players.
yeah,
You know, I don't think Brentford really get the plaudits that they deserve, because they are a good team. That they're hard to beat away. I
yeah.
mean, I'm actually happy that we're at home playing them.
Hmm.
I do think we can beat them,
Yeah.
but it's how we start. You know, I'm just that left side for me. I'm really worried about, because obviously Gomez, I would think he's starting. You know, Simicast, he needs to go on holiday or do something.
I hope
Um,
so. I think it suits, because if you have Trent and he's going to do his hybrid thing, which means generally what we've done with Robertson, etc., the left back tends to sit a little bit more, right? Because one of the criticisms of Robertson, maybe it's not fair on him because it's more tactical, is that he wasn't able to go flying down the pitch because he's sitting a little bit deeper. And so if Gomez starts, which I hope he does, and you have Gomez and then Virgil and Canate, right? That's a good back. I mean, that's a solid back three there. And then it gives even Trent even a little bit more freedom. And I think Gomez suits that role a little bit better than Robertson as well. So I'm not, yeah, I'm more than happy with Gomez to sit in there and play that position. What do you think about up front? Obviously Salah. What about the other two?
yeah, probably Diaz again, and I would probably start Nunes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd
Gakpo
agree.
just didn't do enough for me,
Yeah, he
uh,
didn't.
and I just think, you know, the physicality of Nunes, and the craziness of Nunes will help. I mean, you know, a bunch of people like are just like, he's better off the bench. I'm like,
Who, Nunes?
yeah, I'm like, you've
Mm,
got to let the lad be who he is, you know. And I think this is the game where he can shine, you know.
mm. Yeah.
We all see he's got quality, you know. He scores a worldie one day and he misses from 2 yards out the next. But that'll come. And again, I'll always say this: at least he's getting in those positions, he's getting those chances. And I really don't think he thought Mo was going to head the ball down to him.
Mm,
You know, some say Mo could have scored that by himself. Was it a pass? Was it? I think it was a pass, just by the way Mo's reaction was. But I just think Núñez thought Mo was going to head it straight to goal. So I think he was in two minds. But that's all Núñez is missing from his games, is just the quick thinking of just a tap in.
Well, he's missed
the
Núñez is Mr. Instinct. When he doesn't have to think too much, right? Then boom, then like he can kind of relax and he can think. When like that chance the other day, he had time to think about it, and he should have just bobbled out, just hit his knee. Like if that was Jota or something, it would have just or Robbie Fowler, it would just, but Núñez has to whack everything like 1,000 miles per hour, which he doesn't need to do it. And there's no doubt he has improved. He is better this season, right? There's no doubt that the midfield signings that we have and the way we play suits him better as well, right? That like it's all tailored for him, and he's got the goals this season. He's involved a lot. He's creating chances. He's just he's a wild, crazy lunatic that I don't think much of that is going to change, because that's part of him as a player, right? I think if you tone that down too much, then you lose a massive part of his qualities, right? In regards to the mental thing, I'm not so sure that's ever going to change. I think that's part of him. I mean, that's part of what this player is, and he's gonna score a bunch. He's gonna miss a bunch. He's gonna get involved in situations he probably shouldn't. Even after the game against Toulouse, he comes on the pitch. He's on the pitch for a while. He got into an argument with the defender, and then when he's walking off, he didn't want to shoot these guys. He's just a mentalist, and of course, I hope he succeeds and does well. I don't think he's going to be an Ian Rush. I don't think he's going to be like that kind of goal scorer. He's not. He's going to be, one day he's going to be like Zlatan, right? The next day he's going to be like Benny Hill. That's what he is, and and if it works for us and we win, then brilliant. I can accept that, right? But I think I think we just have to understand that's him. That's the player that's what he is. He's going to be up 1 minute and we're going to love him. Next minute we're going to go absolutely mental with him for missing, an easy Ronnie Rosenthal against Aston Villa-esque chance. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Right? He's got a bit of Ronnie to him, hasn't he? A little bit. He's got that kind of craziness. But anyway,
he's got a bit of Suarez in him as well.
He does.
Nothing, Suarez was unplayable at times, but Suarez, he had the attitude, he had the issues. That's what Núñez brings, and I've got no issue with that. That shows me where wears his heart on his sleeve. But if he could just be putting those easy tap-ins in, I mean, his all-around game. He's still young, but I love his fight. I love his madness. But yeah, if he could just knock in a few for us on Sunday, I'd be.
It'll be interesting to see how, what Klopp's patience is with him, because I think the last couple of games, and it was noticeable against Luton, I think it's the first time where I've seen Klopp like go mental on the bench when you miss that chance. Normally he's pretty calm, chilled about it, but we'll see. Right now, as if we look overall as a team, we're doing all right. We're doing maybe better than expected. Like we said earlier, I think we're in a pretty good position with things to work on. Back to the team. Yeah, I'd agree with you. The final position, Diaz, I think it makes sense. He's going to get a brilliant reception for obvious reasons. Brentford Hickey, the right back, is out still for the rest of the year, I should say. So Brentford have got some defensive issues there. There is an argument for Jota, of course, to start, but I don't think he did a great job at Luton, and that left side doesn't really suit him. So, yeah, I think we have our front 11, or our first 11, but I'd be surprised if it was something different.
Well, it's great to still look at the bench and you still have like Gakpo and Jota to come on. Midfield wise, I have no idea. We're gonna see some names on there that we probably haven't seen before, and they're
Jay
about 50.
Spearing. I know Jay Spearing's at the club. Can he play? He played the
Double-
other day for like the under 18s or whatever it
Yeah,
was. So
yeah, he's still
he,
kicking it.
he
So,
is good
but
for him.
you know, again, we've got to have a solid performance, and then it's the international break again.
And then it's
We
Man City.
just got over one. We just got
Uh,
over an international break.
and there's Man City early kickoff again, which is a bloody
Away,
nightmare. But
away.
yeah, we'll see. But anyway, I know you don't do score predictions.
No, but I will say we'll win.
Okay, that'll do. All right, I'll do a
Yeah,
prediction. I've been predicting 3-1 all season for good reason because we always seem to win 3-1 up until the last couple of games. So I'm going to say I reckon it will be I think because of the issues that Brentford have in defence at the moment, I think we might I think we owe it to the fans and to the players themselves to put in a pretty good performance. I do worry about the midfield, of course, but I think the defence I think is going to be pretty strong. I think we're going to win 4-1. I'm going to go out there and say
I
4-1 Liverpool.
I actually think we'll score first. I do. I think we might score one. If you're going 4-1, I think we might score a couple first. They
Yeah.
might, get one to kind of get the fans going. But I think it'll be a comfortable win. I do. I just do with like you said, Brentford, their back line is like stitched together at the moment, while ours is a bit more solid. And you never know, Endo might have a man of the match game in him this time.
He owes us a performance after that debacle
A lot of them do.
in the week.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Allison back as well, so that's always good. But yeah,
Yeah,
I just think we'll be too much for Brentford.
hope so because yeah, they're a tough cookie to beat. But I think with the injuries and the fact we need to put in a performance that I think it'll work in our favour. So all right. Let's wrap this up. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. And then we do have the Anfield Rapper coming to town. I think
Yeah,
it's next Sunday, right?
19th. Yeah,
19th, yeah, next Sunday. So hopefully we'll be able to do some stuff with them. But yeah, it'll be good to catch up with them guys as well. But yeah, good
yeah.
stuff.
We'll have some good stuff. I held off on the China crisis one just because I knew the international break was coming, so that'll come out next Tuesday. That's Eddie London from China Crisis, the football and music episode, and yeah, I've got a bunch of other crazy stuff lined up. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. It's an upcoming Liverpool band called Rainmaker.
Rainmaker. No,
Uh,
I have not.
they've toured with Liam Gallagher,
Yeah,
and they've toured with Jamie Webster. So I've got them on next week, but that won't go out for a week or so. But yeah,
nice.
that's looking good. We got to fill these holes that we have of 2 weeks of Liverpool. So, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Anfield Rap lads. Take them out for barbecue and.
Yeah.
Have a few pints and have some good crack with them. So yeah, it'll be good.
Sounds good. All right, cool. Well, make sure you like, subscribe, and hopefully we see Liverpool get back to their winning ways this weekend. So have a good one, and we'll see you later.